past, most people found it easy to justify the abuse of animals. It was believed that they were inferior creatures, without feeling or intelligence. Yet we now know that animals have astonishing abilities, and that they share many of the emotions which we once thought unique to people. These orangutans, for example, have clearly decided that they would rather keep dry than face this tropical rainstorm, and have worked out how to do it. We know, too, that there is a close relationship between mother and young. That animals enjoy the company of their own species and express affection. We know that the young enjoy play, that they like to build a stable social group in which they feel comfortable and secure. And that in many different ways, they have extraordinary natural powers which they enjoy using. Yet when the things that make life worth living are taken away, often animals suffer the same painful emotions as we do. The unhappiness of imprisonment and loss of freedom. The boredom of confinement, like in this factory farm. Loneliness and isolation, as in this medical research laboratory. Fear, as with these two monkeys awaiting animal experimentation. And depression, sometimes eventually leading to severe mental disorders or even madness when they're kept alone without hope for long periods. Above all, they share with us the capacity to feel pain, like this rabbit used in a British laboratory. Yet despite all the qualities which we now know to exist in animals, we continue to treat them without respect or compassion. We thoughtlessly destroy their habitat for short-term profit, causing death to millions of creatures. We humiliate them to provide us with cheap entertainment. We kill them to make coats from their fur. We hunt them for sport. We imprison and slaughter hundreds of millions each year for food. And in laboratories around the world, we poison them to test cosmetics, household products, chemicals, and drugs. We scald and burn them. Or infect them with painful diseases in medical research. Yet even when it becomes obvious that animals have their own needs and emotions, those who exploit them still excuse ill treatment. It is argued that people must come first, and that the misery we inflict upon other creatures is somehow necessary for our benefit. Similar defenses have been made to justify all social evils. Not so long ago, cruelty to African slaves was excused by the argument that they, too, lacked all feeling and intelligence. And then, added to this ridiculous moral justification, was the illusion that the end of the slave trade would cause economic hardship to society. The same sorts of statement were advanced to excuse the exploitation of children as cheap labor, or to deny the vote to women in elections. Nowadays, the abuse of animals is defended in a comparable way. Take the argument that we need to kill farm animals to produce more meat. Why should we care that billions of animals are killed for food when millions of people are starving? In fact, eating meat actually reduces the amount of food available to feed people. All protein, including meat, originally comes from vegetarian food. The choice is whether we grow crops to feed animals, which we then eat, or whether we grow crops which humans can eat directly in a vegetarian diet. When we produce meat, animals waste most of the protein and energy value of what they're fed in their digestive systems. In all, you can produce between 5 and 10 times as much protein by growing food for direct human consumption than by growing feed which animals then convert into meat. It has been estimated that if everybody in the world became a vegetarian, we could feed 6 billion people. If, on the other hand, we take approximately a third of our calories from animal produce, as is the average in the USA today, we can feed only 3 billion. Since the current human population is already approaching 6 billion and increasing fast, this means we simply have to rely more on a vegetarian diet in order to meet the growing problems of human hunger. Then there are those who argue that if we stop using animals in experiments, it will mean that millions of people will die from dreadful diseases. Yet a growing number of doctors and scientists believe that animal experiments are unreliable as a guide to treating human illness. This is because other animals are different to us in the way their bodies work and in their response to drugs. As a result, animal experiments can give misleading answers about how people will react to a new medicine. As with the heart drug Iraldin, which later caused serious side effects in people, including blindness. On the other hand, had penicillin been tested on guinea pigs, to whom it is fatal, this valuable drug could have been lost forever. Human diseases can also take a different form in animals, as shown by AIDS. Even chimpanzees, animals with a similar genetic makeup to us, do not develop the disease when injected with the AIDS virus. Whilst many scientists continue to use animals, there has to be a better way forward. Computer technology can help to develop drugs. Results from studies of human tissue can be used to discover new treatments. And in cancer research, the most important breakthrough of all came from observing people who smoked, not from forcing animals to inhale the smoke from cigarettes. It is also mainly thanks to social reformers who observed that living in poverty and squalor was the main cause of death from infectious diseases that people live longer today than they did 100 years ago. These discoveries were the basis of improvements in living and working conditions, measures that have been far more significant in reducing death rates than any medical breakthrough. There is another, less obvious way in which ill treatment of animals harms us as well as them. Many people believe that working in slaughterhouses and laboratories leads people to become indifferent to animal suffering. Why, for example, did workers at BioSearch laboratories in the USA fail to notice this rabbit suffering with a disease for several days? Why did workers at England's Royal College of Surgeons tattoo the word crap on the head of this primate? And these two animal researchers have taken a break, apparently totally unaware of the rabbit they have left without anesthetic. Almost every time that the secret world of animal laboratories is penetrated, it is these kinds of scenes which confront us. It is possible to put right some of the misery which humans have created for other animals, and many people are dedicating their lives to doing so. At this sanctuary, farm animals rescued from slaughter are able to live out their lives in peace and tranquility. These beagle dogs are free to enjoy companionship, exercise and fresh air. Yet around the world many thousands are bred simply to die in vivisection laboratories. And these dolphins have been rescued from boredom and deprivation to find a new life in the Caribbean Sea. We all have choices to make. Choices about whether we remain in the old world, where animals are treated solely as objects to satisfy humans, or whether to live by a new ethic, based on respect and compassion for all those with whom we share the planet. We can all choose whether to eat meat or whether to choose vegetarianism. The range of healthier non-meat versions of popular convenience foods like sausages and burgers is increasing all the time, as well as more traditional meat-free meals. We can all choose whether to purchase animal-tested products or buy cruelty-free cosmetics and household products. Whether to visit places like zoos and circuses which exploit animals, or to support only circuses which rely upon human skills. We can all choose whether to support medical research which involves animals, or those charities which make it a policy to use only humane alternatives. We can all try to reduce the level of suffering in this world, whether to people, to farm animals, to dying forests, to endangered species, or even to animals which might seem the smallest and least significant. Their future is in your hands.